What up? Welcome back to another episode of the Game Playbook. And today I thought it would be fun to not talk about a topic that I want to talk about, but to talk about a topic that you want to talk about. So, I got my phone here and I'm going to go on to one of my favorite subreddits, r/dating, and answer one of the posts out there that one of somebody made. Sounds fun. So, episode 1 of Reddit comments. This will be fun because I'm writing my own comment to a Reddit post. Yeah, kind of creative. But let's go see what we got here. I sorted in the top of the week. And trying to weed out any of the ones that just sound kind of dumb. Because there's a couple of those. I'm gonna answer this one. Because I've had some experience with it lately. The title is there any hope for boring guys? They say the worst part about modern dating for me is that I'm either lying about myself on dating apps or I don't get matches. And by lying, quote unquote, with the air quotes, I just mean being very outgoing and trying to seem like I have hobbies. But when the actual date comes, it's not the greatest because I'm forcing myself into a bubble I don't fit in. Bro, this guy's forcing himself into a bubble he put himself in on the jump, bro. I'm a pretty boring person, but I enjoy my life. All I do is work, go to the gym, and sleep. Feel that a little bit. I read as well, but not enough to talk about it. Bro, when you read as red and not red, so then you have to reread read as read so that we can read red correctly, bro. I like to code in my free time as well, but nothing drives up the conversation than me talking about a random application. No matter how interested you want to be, it's not going to sound cool. I agree with this because programming is one of those things where like you can talk about the QSS and the SSS and the DHIs and the whatevers, man. I don't know what that means. And if they're not a tech savvy programming person, they're not going to know what that means either. So then it just feels like you can't relate to people, man, when you start talking about all these code terms that nobody else knows what they're talking about. They're just like, hey, how do you feel about this? You have to ask like questions that you can actually get an answer that you can understand back about. And I would know because I know some people like that where all they want to do is talk about code and it does not lead to very deep conversations. Well, let's continue. The common prompt is, what's your perfect Sunday? What's my perfect Sunday? Well, I usually wake up and I get on the computer and I chat with my AI girlfriends for a little bit. And then I get changed and go to church. And then I get back from church and chat with my AI girlfriends. And then I go hang out with my real friends and play some board games. And then I get back and I do finish up whatever school assignments I have left. I also do that in the morning. All right, in the morning and the evening after the game nights is when I usually like to get my schoolwork done. Most of it. Whatever assignments I have left. But that's an average Sunday. My perfect Sunday, wake up at like 12, go to church, come back, eat some pizza, and sleep. Sounds like a good Sunday to me. Anyways, his answer just seems to be boring. I want to be in jogging pants and a hoodie and not see the sun for that whole day. Watch a couple episodes on Netflix, read maybe, take a nap. I need it to be a Sunday right now. I've had plenty of great matches on the apps, but it never goes anywhere. Yeah. They're often just a lot more active than I am. I want a girl who also likes to be boring. Well, they're out there. You know, girls are not a monolith, as I talked about in a previous episode. So if you want a boring girl, there's definitely those out there. I also recognize my issue may just be dating apps in general, but I have no idea how to meet people because I don't do a whole lot. I'm definitely open to certain things, I just don't know where to start. So, we have a dude who programs, works out, and sleeps, and wants a boring girl. Can he have a girl? Yeah. I mean, I don't have too many hobbies myself. My main hobbies are this YouTube channel, and then dating theory, and then scrolling online forums, and playing video games, and solving Rubik's Cubes. That's kind of like my main one. You know, my dad and I were talking about it. What is a hobby? A hobby is basically something that you don't have to do it, but you still put a lot of time into it. So, like work, I like work. Work makes me feel good because it feels like I'm doing something with my life, something productive with my life. School, same thing. Feels like I'm doing something productive with my life. But you kind of have to do those things if you want to progress in life. You know, hobbies, you're not really progressing too much. I mean, they make you feel real cool. I mean, solving Rubik's Cubes, I have an official in competition sub 15 second solve. And that felt pretty cool off the roll, you know. I put that cube down on the timer and I was like, yo, man, this is new personal best right there. Yo, or when I beat the cube cut off by like 12 seconds. That was crazy, dog. Yo, that was cool. So it's fun. Hobbies can be fun, but it's something that you don't have to do, but you still put a lot of time into. I've been cubing for 9 years now. 8.5 years now, so a lot of experience doing it. But let's get back to the guy here. If you don't have hobbies and you just want a boring girl, first off, where do you meet? Well, they're not going to be in somewhere where they would be in for extracurriculars. So you probably have to meet them at a place where they would have to be, like the store, like the grocery store, or the college or work. And I don't recommend dating a coworker. I don't recommend it. I also don't recommend dating somebody from the same ward as you, because if it goes well, great. But if it doesn't, then you still have to be around them, and then that's actually a great situation. I prefer not to poison the pot, as they say. So let's take that out. Let's take they have to be somewhere where you have to meet them, because that's the first step. If you want a boring girlfriend, then you have to know where to find a boring girlfriend. So they have to be somewhere where they have to be at. This guy, I don't remember if he mentioned his age or not. But if he's on the younger side, then I would recommend maybe coffee shops. But do boring people go to coffee shops? I don't go often to coffee shops. I wouldn't know if boring people do go to coffee shops. Well, it's weird too, because like, what does boring even mean? Does it mean they don't have any hobbies, or does that just mean they're a homebody? You know? Because you can be a very active person, but when talking to that person, like, they're just bored, I guess. Can you be bored and have an active life at the same time? Sounds like a paradoxical statement. Okay, moving on. So that's the girl. Where would you find her, right? As for you, would somebody be interested in you, in a boring person? Well, again, that comes down to, do you just not have any hobbies, or are you just like a legit boring person? Because this guy said that he works out and he sleeps. But when he works out, is he like cranking iron, having a good time, or is he just there struggling to get up his 10th push up, you know? Or does he go to work and like have a good time with his coworkers and like laugh and like tease them and everything? Or does he just show up and work and go home? You know, because you can have a boring lifestyle on paper, but not necessarily be a boring person. And that's what I noticed. I did this, my friends roped me into this speed dating event thing back in November. And it was surprising to me how on paper people had similar hobbies. So it kind of just made everyone boring. There wasn't really anybody that stood out, you know. They were just all people, just with similar hobbies. I only got like one match from that, and that one match I was just like, it didn't really happen. But let's go back to the topic point. Can a boring guy get a girlfriend? He can. I'm gonna say if you're a boring guy, then you can't have a girlfriend. If you see an opportunity to put yourself out there, put yourself out there, but don't make yourself out there. Because if you're a boring guy and you try to get in a cold approach and seduction and be extroverted, then you're not going to have a whole lot to back it up with once you do start getting results. Because, like, let's say you cold approach a girl, right? Good conversation. Let's say, right? You ask, you want to grab some coffee? And she's like, sure. So you go out. But then you start talking and you realize, well, wait a minute, this guy's kind of boring. All he wants to do is talk about work and working out and sleeping. And that's not a lot to roll off of. So it's going to have to happen organically. And it probably wouldn't be the best idea to go around cold approaching girls if you, because like the thing about cold approach is you're trying to find, well, it's different for everybody. It's a skill set. You can use the tool however you want to use the tool, but if you cold approach and you get a date and you go out on the date and you don't have much to talk about, then it will hinder results. I think a boring guy can't get a girlfriend because I think a boring girl would also want a boring guy. You know, maybe a homebody girl would want a homebody guy. You know, she doesn't want a guy who's like, yo, man, I want to go fishing on Saturday. I also want to go play tennis on Saturday. And then on Sunday, yo, 5K hike, bro. Yeah. And she's like, can we just stay inside and eat food and watch some movies and sleep? Yeah. I think a homebody relationship could work well. Two boring people could work it out well. But man, that early phase is going to be hard to work with just because there's not a lot to work with. What are you going to talk about? You know, you're going to talk about sports. You're going to talk about the weather. I'm talking about the weather for an hour. You talk about the weather for an hour, and then after the day, you know what? I had a really fun time talking with you about the weather. You want to do it again sometime? Yeah. There you go. Now, if you're a boring guy and you want to get into the hobby of dating and cold approach, bro, go right ahead. It's a great topic. It's a great skill set. It'll benefit you for the rest of your life. You might end up with some real cool love, man. Ain't that the pipe dream? If that's what you want, cool. But one thing I've learned is you do not want to talk about dating other girls while you're dating a girl, bro. Oh, man. I tried that one time. It did not go well. No, sir. No. So then if that is your hobby, then you go out on a date and you can't talk about that. What are you going to talk about? So I think that's the moral of the story. A boring guy can get a girlfriend. And if you want to do a cold approach, sure. But it might be a good idea to have some stuff to talk about on the dates. And whether you prepare for that or not, that's up to you. The right girl will love you for who you are. You just have to find her. Sometimes you don't in this lifetime, and sometimes you do. But they would have to be pretty similar people. Can a boring guy get a girl? Yeah, but she'd have to be similar. And he would have to have stuff to talk about on the dates to keep her interested in dating him. So it's getting dark out here, guys. I'm going to turn it off, edit it, upload it, and I'll see you out on the field next week, man.